大家好，我是 Julie， 今天教你做西班牙果酒。
现在他把苹果切成片儿。
I have no upper body strength. So apples are extremely good at holding in juices as well as releasing their own flavor. I put the core in because I was taught by my grandmother, not my wife, my abuela, that when you put in the core, the seeds still release their flavor and they add to the fermentation process. So the longer that the wine sits, the stronger it gets. And so I like to add a lot of apple because they're so good at holding juice and they taste so good. It's like candy. And if you do it correctly and if you leave them in long enough, this is what your apple's going to begin to look like. It's going to look wine-soaked, which is what you want. So we're just going to chop up the apples into bite-sized pieces and leave the skins on. The skin is really important. That's what also releases the flavor, but not only that, it also has a bunch of good nutrients in there for you. And whoever said that wine isn't good for you is sorely mistaken. You do this, and then we just plop it in. Simple as that. And the new fresh apples, if you're adding to an older batch, will create a new sort of freshness and give new life to the old batch that you have. Next I already had this cut up lemon, so we're just gonna throw it in. We're gonna slice it. So again, skins on, seeds in, keep it all. I add lemon because if we didn't add lemon and lime, then it gets too sweet and then you won't be able to drink it as easily. Now, sangria is typically a lower alcohol content than others. This one right here should be about 6% alcohol content, which means it's very easy to drink, very refreshing, and it's not really going to get you too drunk, which is good for my mom behind the camera right now because she can't drink too much. One little side note, we're going to throw in these pieces as well, the end pieces, because even though they don't have the soft middles, they're still very useful. So we're going to squeeze a little bit, and it might not seem like it releases much, but the pores of see, my hands are already wet with it. The pores of the lemon hold a lot of almost juice. And then we take this, squeeze it a little bit, squeeze it, and then you throw it in. We're going to do that one more time, squeeze it, and throw it in. And then we're going to leave 2 untouched ones and just throw them in. We're going to do the same thing with our lime. I typically use maybe 1 whole lemon. When I'm starting a new batch, I use 1 whole lemon and maybe 1 to 2 limes. It depends on how sweet you want it. And I love to use oranges and apples in this because I think that those are perfect flavors, but I know that other people sometimes add strawberries and pear. Pear is also a very good flavor to have because it doesn't release a lot of sweetness if you don't have a big sweet tooth, but it does hold a lot of the juice from the sangria. So again, we're just going to release the juice from some of the slices, and then we're going to throw the others in. Now, after I add a couple fruits in, I like to mix it up, just make sure everything gets soaked and sinks to the bottom. So after a while, of soaking, your lemon and your lime is gonna start to look like this. This is after 2 days of soaking. See, you can see that it's completely soaked into the rind, which is very good. And it's still, you can see almost that right here, the lemon's almost deflated. That means that it's still releasing its flavor even though I didn't squeeze it. So it's very good. I'm just gonna put it all in there. Again, squeeze it. And dump it in. Mix it up. And now comes the fun part. Actually, before we do the fun part, I'm going to show you what these oranges look like when they haven't been squeezed after a couple days in the wine. This is what you want it to look like. Now what we're going to do is we're going to replenish it. So we start with a basic red wine. Thankfully we got this one, which comes from Spain, and it's a great brand because it's already meant for sangria. But if you want, you can use just a typical old red wine. I think something on the sweeter side if you could find it, but I think that this right here is perfect. You really want something from South America or Spain when you're not getting a typical sangria mix, because this is where sangria was originally born, and the wines that come from this region are the wines best used for it. So we're just going to pour it all in. We've just added orange juice into this as well after our apple cider, and I added orange juice in it, low acidity, and this one's no pulp, but you can use pulp because we already have it in there, because it helps to bring out the flavor of the apple and the orange itself, as well as like give you more to have, you know. And yeah, all right. Next step is, and our final step is seltzer. I love to add seltzer to this. You don't have to, it's fine still, but I love a good refreshing wine, or sangria especially, that's bubbly. I think that it adds more body to it, it helps flavors come out more. So you can use flavored seltzer, or you can just use regular bubbly water. Does not matter. But to batch this big, I add 2 cans. And if you're using a big bottle of seltzer, I would use half the bottle. Okay. And then one final mix. Okay. And then you're all set. You can put your top back on, and you know what? Okay, so we put our top on your container, and I like to pour a little ice in here, and I love to grab some of the fruit out from it because it's such a little addition to it, a nice little addition that I think it adds so much more flavor to it. And then you just go ahead and pour. You serve how much you'd like, and you've got your drink. Perfect.